Hi, I'm Brooke Musgrave, and this is my Geography Inquiry Project.
Look at this! This is a water. A water is also known as H2O. But how much water is on Earth, and how much is accessible? Imagine that this droplet is 100% of the world's water. 97.5% of that water is salty. 3.5% of the water on Earth is fresh, but most of it is unattainable. 70% is frozen in ice caps, while almost 30% is locked underground. This leaves less than 1% for human consumption. To put it into a better perspective, imagine you have a water bottle. You accidentally knock over that water bottle, and most of it spills away. The remaining water is drank by a thirsty llama, but you shoo it away just in time to save you one drop to drink. How is the majority of fresh water used in Canada? About 64% of the fresh water is used for crops and farming in general. How much water does the average Canadian use in a day? The average Canadian uses between 100 and 300 gallons a day. That's about 2,250 water bottles. It makes sense if you really think about it: showering, brushing your teeth, doing the dishes, doing laundry, and drinking water. The average person should drink about 2 liters a day, which is the equivalent to half of a gallon. Which country has the most fresh water available? You might think that it's Canada, but surprisingly, it's not. Most of the water in Canada is frozen in icebergs, so Canada's off the list. Instead, it's Brazil. Brazil has 27,470 cubic meters of water in the entire country. How can salt water be changed into fresh, drinkable water? Through the process of desalination. Desalination is the removal of salt from saline water to make it fresh and drinkable. Desalination occurs in a solar still. Salt water is collected in the bottom of the solar still, then the sun will evaporate the water from the salt. The water will condense at the top of the still, then run down to the trough on the side, collecting in a small container that you can drink from. What are the comparisons between salt water and fresh water? Salt water is undrinkable because it contains not only salt, but dangerous chemicals that have eroded from rocks. Salt water is made during the movement of land over a stretched period of time. Rocks break down and the salts from the rock get into the water, making it full of salt and rock dust. Fresh water is clean of any rock residue and is drinkable. Many people find it easier to float in salt water than in fresh water because of the density. The more dense the water is, the easier it will be to hold things up, but fresh water doesn't have salt in it, so it's harder to float. The water in Canada versus the water in India. Water in Canada is much more accessible than the water in India. In Canada, we can easily go to the store and purchase a 24-pack of bottled water for $7. But in India, water is more scarce. 76 million people in India are in crisis due to lack of water. 21% of the diseases in the country are water-related. This happens because most people don't have access to filtered water. What's the difference between drinking salt water and drinking fresh water? When we drink fresh water, it flushes out any toxins in our systems that create pimples and make us groggy. It makes you more alert and focused. When we drink salt water, it overrides our system. Kidneys can only make urine that is less salty than salt water, so to get rid of all the salt that you intake, you must urinate more water than you drink, overall dehydrating and killing you. Should we do anything about the way that we overuse water? We overuse a lot of water. We live in a place where we can do that, and it won't have many effects on us. We should not use as much water because it costs money for clean water. But the problem is other people. The people in the world that are thirsty and dehydrated because they can't get to clean water, constantly having to deal with disease caused by dirty water. We as Canadians can overuse water because we have what seems like an unlimited amount of it. But the people that don't have access to drinking water are struggling with what little water is on Earth.